Well, let's discuss Nigeria's journey to self-sufficiency in rice production. I have joining me this morning here in the studio a public affairs analyst, Kenny Adenuba. It's good to have you join us on Business News this morning.
Good morning.
Well, it seems that with these little moves, Nigeria seems to be making little strides, towards achieving the self-sufficiency we had promised ourselves, in the year 2020. First, let's put this in perspective. What is our current production? What's the deficit? Is the country close to closing the gap?
Thank you very much, Sarah. One of the things I've come to realize is the fact that we make promises, we have projections, but most of the time we don't, in most cases, run towards it early enough. We do last-minute approach. And so far, there's been some good moves, no doubt about it. However, we're not yet there yet. As of today, I can tell you clearly that our rice production capacity is still below what it should be right now. When the border was closed, you could see the impact because the local production could not meet up with the demand. And that is a very, very obvious thing for us to consider. That you know what, we still have a lot to go. 1.9 million tons per year is not enough for us when it comes to certain things. We know what Egypt is doing, even though today we have 55% of production in Africa, and but nonetheless, I think we're still way far behind what we ought to be, where we ought to be rather, and. The pyramid is a good thing to showcase. Which is what I was going to ask you. The pyramid is a good thing to showcase, but we know the way some of these things work at the same time.
Some even describe that as being the world's biggest rice pyramid. Indeed, a sight to behold. It reminds me of the picture behind, at the back of the 200 Naira notes. But how helpful is the Anchor Borrowers program? Do you really think we're having the rice revolution, like some analysts would say?
Well, I'll say it clearly. The rice revolution is working. It's slow compared to what some of us actually had expected it to be. The Rice Farmers Association are trying their best, working with CBN and BOI to get the Anchor Borrowers Fund matter going on. However, we need to do more. We need to do more. A lot of things we realize is that, of course, we have the big players who are actually now into mechanized and industrial rice production, including milling. But nonetheless, whatever Costaris or Olam or whatever would do is not as much yet giving us what we need to do. We still have a lot of ways to go. And good enough, it's now spread across the 36 states. It's no longer Ekiti and what have you that actually holds in the southwest or Ebonyi in the southeast. We already now have other states of the Federation getting involved, apart from North Central and Northwest, which is key in the first instance, like Kebbi.
So would you say it has improved the fortunes of rural farmers, transforming agriculture into potential for economic growth?
Yes, I would say that the farmers actually could be better off at the end of the day. Right now, it's not yet Uhuru. That's the reality. It's very easy for us to talk about things on the papers. But when you go into the hinterland, when you go into the farm plantations, the rice plantations, you will then know the challenges. Of course, there's the issue of the bird, predatory challenge on the rice plantation. There's insecurity, there is pest control, and a whole lot of things and what have you. Of course, if we must go somewhere, we must think more of mechanization. Mechanization is going to change, the dynamics of rice production for us strongly going forward. But until we begin to look at that, let government focus more on mechanization and reducing the tariff on importation of equipment. I think that will go a long way.
Of course, we're taking steps, from the CBN program. But some persons would say that the quality of our rice is poor because rice processing techniques are inefficient. Let's talk about the quality of rice. I love rice as a person. I know a lot of persons like rice. So how nutritious is our rice?
I'll tell you for free. Our rice is rated as some of the best. However, we have problem at the point of, when you then do the paddy and then you have to talk about milling. Don't forget that some of the things that are used, they use them in local parlance where they then spread the rice. In the process of that, a lot of stones come in, and that's where the problem is. So you now have to have destoners to be able to take away stones again, and some don't have that. So that's the problem that we have. We have the problem of not being able to sort and get it done well. So until that happens, our rice may not even be able to meet that quality when it comes to export. Even though right now, we're the largest exporter of rice
largest producer, well, also the largest...
no, I'm talking of in the world today, we're the third largest importer of rice.
Of rice.
It's quite amazing. And we're, I think number 11 or so in production right now. I mean, China and India following as first and second. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to the issue of destoning and the quality is good, but the challenge is finishing, the usual Nigerian thing. Packaging, post-production, packaging, marketing techniques, and then also pricing. All these things are some of the challenges we have, which affect our rice equity in the market. And
I think one of the challenges is rice smuggling. Of course, it's still a problem. Just like you said, we're one of the largest producers in Africa, one of the largest importers of rice in the world. How can we use export to drive or improve our foreign reserves, really?
Well, like I said earlier, one, as of today, the question to ask is, can we achieve self-sustenance? That's the first thing to do. Can we achieve self-sustenance through local production? If we cannot achieve self-sustenance through local production, then we want to start talking about export. When we also have a China and India, and the others, and Thailand to actually, compete with. Whereas we still bring in from those places. And then, of course, the issue of smuggling is an economic matter, really, at the end of the day. Because people actually would rather trade, in most cases, than actually go through the line when it comes to rice production. So for a number of people, it's quick money. Let's do the trade. And that's sabotage. However, the government actually must have the will to ensure that some of these things are nipped in the bud, and then we get our own qualities quite right for people to be able to take it up. Today we have abakaliki, we have lake rice, we're coming somewhere, but we're not there yet. That's what I would say.
Hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years we'll get there and we'll be able to feed ourselves. Public Affairs Analyst Kenny Adenugba, thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Sarah.